Very anxious. I was like a little kid trying to go to sleep before Christmas last night.
It's good to be back up here.
It's good to call him Dion Walker, not Dwayne. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalana alongside Dan Fates here at Bills Rookie Minicamp. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tons of content is coming your way over this next week because first it is Rookie Minicamp, Mike. Then it is scheduled release day. Then we also will have later on the state of the Bills offense coming up next week. So tons of content. Please, please, please pause the video for a second and subscribe. Appreciate it as always. Okay. Let's start out. There's a couple of things.
Are you saying people couldn't subscribe while they're watching?
You know what? We want to focus. One process. It's a process-driven podcast and YouTube channel. We got to see the players. We got to talk to some of the players today. Your first impression of what you saw today?
I find it very interesting when we see the rookies come out here because it's just them. Right? So it's like that day early of school, maybe freshmen at college, right? When the seniors aren't there, the juniors, the sophomores, it's only you. And there's a little hesitation, right? They're in an NFL uniform. That is a big deal to these guys.
Absolutely.
It is a major step. But they walk out on the field, okay, as maybe the better players, right?
Sure.
Especially the draft picks.
Yeah.
Feeling that way. It'll be different in a couple of weeks when the vets are here. We know that. But it's funny to me. In fact, Maxwell Hairston, who has a lot of confidence, right? He's a guy that has enthusiasm and confidence. But I asked him, what's it feel like to go out there on a field in your first NFL practice with the rookies? Here's what he had to say.
Very anxious. I was like a little kid trying to go to sleep before Christmas last night. But just, it's okay to be anxious, but to still go out there and be confident and, know what I have, know what to do and execute. It's all just a learning process.
He wasn't the only one. Landon Jackson also said he was extremely nervous today and was kind of asked on the follow-up of like, hey, if you're nervous now, imagine when the seniors and the juniors showed up. And he goes, the nerves go away after today. It really is, I think, that first day of school vibes that they're getting their feet wet and taste of the NFL.
And every coach is looking at just them.
Yeah.
Now, look, even when the vets are here, they're looking at these rookies a lot because they want to see who warrants what they're thinking when they go the rest of the offseason and certainly when they go to training camp. They know what to expect out of a lot of the vets, but it's very different when you're out there in the field. It's just the rookies. That's why to take a lot from the little bit of scrimmaging over there that goes on.
Over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I saw Caden Prather make a couple of nice catches. That's great. He should be able to.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of rookies out there, and they're not hitting anybody, but it's nice to see when the players look like he's got a little size and a little bit of talent. That's how much you take out of these practices.
Yeah, I tweeted before we went out there, I said, things I'm looking forward to seeing at Bills Rookie Minicamp, and it was Dion Walker, and how large of a human being Dion Walker is. I'll say this. Maybe I made it up in my head a little bit. He's a large human being. I thought he was going to be like the Mountain from Game of Thrones. He's a big guy. And I think when he gets pads on, it'll also be different. But he was big. He didn't do a ton of drills today. That was part of what kind of being said after they drafted him. It's going to be a ramp-up period after the back injury that he was dealing with all of last year.
Yeah, I was watching during all the drills. Like, he was not doing those. There's no reason for him to be doing it now. He was doing the old mental reps, like they say. But I will say this. He's engaged with the coaches and all. He's figuring everything out. But that's going to be something to monitor and to watch because he's going to be a big physical player. He's still pretty big. He's big.
Yes. You know who else was really big? TJ Sanders was bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
Because the report coming out on him was undersized for a defensive tackle. He don't look small next to Dion Walker. Like, he's a big guy, too. Sturdy base.
Yeah.
If we get the oily hips kind of scouting report, he's got a sturdy base. I like to see, he's got some drive and some push to him. I liked seeing that. And the other guy for me, Landon Jackson, was bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy that could tie his shoes without bending over. That is how long his arms are.
Not as tall as his dad, though.
His dad is 6'11". So he is.
I want to know what you guys
His dad towers over him.
If you were 6'11", would you say 7 feet?
No. No.
No.
Because you want to be 7 foot is like crazy tall. Like
6'11" is not.
no, but like it's different. I
It
think
puts you in another place, like because
Correct.
they'll have stats that say 12% of the people in the country that are
Yeah.
over 7 feet played in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's
Landon
not that
Jackson's-
many of them.
Landon Jackson's father did play in college.
Yes.
So, so that was interesting to me. Seeing his size, he also talked about the nerves and things like that. But I thought he was a big dude.
What else did he say about getting bigger, though? Too.
Landon?
Yeah.
No, Dorian's dad.
Oh, okay. So tell him that one.
So the one guy that I thought really impressed me today, and it was an interesting guy coming in because it's a 6th-round pick in the same draft that somebody that the Bills also took a cornerback in the 1st round.
When does that ever happen?
Right. Dorian Strong, to me, looked really good today. And again, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it'll develop into my hot take of the year as we get closer to training camp, that this guy could be a legitimate player in the NFL. He has a ton of confidence, and he also worked out with Maxwell Harrison in Phoenix leading up to the draft process. They have been
Yeah.
very close. After practice, they were working out together. Like, it felt like that Kyer Benford vibe. And first thing I asked was, look, they're friends. It's great that they know each other. Training, they thought there was a possibility they could end up on the same team. And I kind of asked him, well, yeah, you're buddies, you're friends. You are competing against one another for a roster spot. And this is what Dorian Strong had to say.
It's just a healthy competition. Like, you can't, like, basically be like an a-hole, I guess. But, like, you know, like, you just got to, like, coach them up. Like, don't, like, be humble enough, you know, to be a coach. You know, like, at the end of the day, we all competing, you know. And more of the story, like, I can help him as long as my production's still showing what it is. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, coach makes the final decision, you know. So we're going to go out there and compete, you know, regardless. I'm going to try to make more plays than him, and we're going to work.
Yeah, you don't want to be an a-hole, but you want to make more plays than him. I liked that intensity. And talk about physicality. Dorian's the more bigger guy. He's not as fast, obviously, as Harrison, but he's seen as the more physical guy and agile. His dad's a professional bodybuilder. So in high school, he was made fun of because he was too skinny, and so he's constantly had to work at building up his physicality. It's something he takes a lot of pride in, something he knows he constantly is working on. And he said, just wait till I get in the weight room and you see how swole I am.
Is he going to get Max in there with him?
Could help.
Yeah.
Could help.
Now, just in terms of size, did he mention that he was in my mock draft from the
He
Bills?
didn't. I did tell him to like, comment, and subscribe to
Yeah.
the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. But like I said, my way too early hot take. This is just testing the hot take waters. I think he's going to play a lot for the Bills.
It'd be tremendous if another 6th-round pick corner is really good. Add in the number 1 pick being
That would be
really
great.
good. That would be phenomenal
Yeah.
for this draft. So let's see how it is. But I do think he does have that. He carries himself that way, at least
5-year
initially.
starter, played a
Yeah.
lot of football. He is very confident in what he can do. And like I said, at the end of it, he's like, I want to make more plays than him. Like, I think that's a good part of the healthy competition. And I'm just looking at him as a guy that we could be talking about him at training camp going, hey, man, they got to find a spot for this guy in the field.
Jackson Hawes made a couple of nice plays.
Yes.
Which is cool. I mean,
Blocking tight end.
he's a blocking tight end. The way I look at a blocking tight end is when they call you a blocking tight end, just catch the ball when it's thrown to you.
That is
Because you're
correct.
not going to get that many of them.
Yes.
But who knows how a guy develops. He's a big guy.
Yes.
Let's see what he is. It seems like when you take a guy in the fifth round, they want him to be on this roster.
Yeah.
They want him to be on the team. Let's see how he is. Again, you're just getting these initial looks at them.
It almost feels like a instructional camp. Like that's what this is. Like they had to walk them through the stretches and the like that kind of thing. Because
This is the way we do things in Buffalo. I think that's what they're telling them.
right. And so I liked that. And again, I liked hearing that the guys were nervous and anxious. Like that's real. That's these guys being relatable. Harrison seems to be flying around. He looks so smooth. Again, you see that recovery speed, and they were going through their reps just positionally. And you had the defensive backs coaches and the secondary coaches kind of being like, "Go through it harder, Max. Like, go through this more. Like, this is it. Take it like an NFL rep." Lap the guy in front of you, like pushing him to be that way. And then they called him and Dorian out to make sure they did reps together. Like that is where I think this competition is going to be really exciting in training camp.
I think this is something I'm not sure fans at home realize. Like, NFL teams take those drills and that instruction very seriously.
Every step.
Like, this is not just for the rookies.
Yep.
They want it done away, and we'll watch them during the season, during practice, when they're going through stuff. Like, they are very meticulous about what they want, positioning. Because
The stance for the defensive
Yes.
lineman, watching Deion Walker, like they want they're tweaking the angle of his back foot to a certain degree. All these tiny little things, which is what makes it. I remember talking to Reed Ferguson about the
Yeah.
way that you held the football and all these little intricate things that even at the highest level of college is not paid to the attention that it is in the NFL.
you need any advantage or, to keep up
Yeah.
in any way possible. Fundamentals and those things get taught starting today
Yep.
for these guys. And that carries through. I mean, in November in a practice, they're going through fundamentals, which
Correct.
is great to see.
All right, so switching gears just a little bit, that kind of wraps up again. It was over there, and there wasn't a ton to break down besides Deion Walker is a large human being, but so is Landon
It's
Jackson.
funny, he and Max, because
It's the
it's
Jose
the
Altuve,
smallest-
Aaron
yes.
Judge.
It just is. We have to get them standing together.
I mean, he weighs twice as much.
Almost.
twice,
I
yeah.
mean, it's like what?
180,
Twice would be about
350,
360. It's close.
Yeah. There is the schedule release that is coming out on Wednesday. We will have a podcast coming out on Monday, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to tune into that one about what we think the schedule could be like, what primetime games are possibility. We are hearing that Josh Allen will be on
The Today Show.
show on NBC on Monday morning. Speculate away.
Well, look, NBC the first weekend has the Thursday game. That's the Eagles opener. That's going to be in Philly.
Yes.
Bills play the Eagles this year, but that game is in Buffalo.
Correct.
So they're not playing that game. It's not the Thursday game. The other games are not NBC.
And who do you think the Eagles could play on Thursday? When we were driving up here, you made a good point.
So they have a great schedule. Like, there's a lot of teams they could play that they are playing at home. A lot of people think Lions. I'm saying Chicago Bears.
Everything's coming up Chicago.
Yeah.
Pope's games, new coach, Caleb.
They got the Pope. Isn't that something? But I told Dan, if the Pope was from Philly, he would have walked out and said, Go Birds, right off the bat. But that's what I think for that Thursday game.
Yep.
We will see. But I think Josh is there to talk about the Bills opener. Who you got for them in the opener?
What we're hearing
We
is
have
the
sources.
sources that there's the possibility that the Bills would be home Sunday night of week one, potentially against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I mean, you got Burrow and Allen, so there you go.
And you got Chase and Higgins. Like you have a lot of
Ooh, I was just
storylines.
thinking of Max, man. If you're starting in that game, there you go. Be ready, rookie.
I just thought of that.
Yeah, but that's a great opening game. Look,
Yes.
the Bills have options for that game. Like a quiet one outside the division is Tampa.
You're big on the I'm not as big on it.
No, here, opening weekend, people are starving for football.
Yes.
So it doesn't always have to be. It could be Baltimore.
Could be Baltimore's the other one.
I mean, that's a big matchup for them too. So we'll see what ends up happening. But if Josh is on the Today Show, that tells me it's the NBC game.
And it's Sunday night
Yeah.
because it's not Thursday.
No, it's not going to be that game.
So that's just our little teaser. We wanted to throw that in there.
And then they've got. Look, we're going to find out. We may know some of them because some of that stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Yay or nay for you right now, Christmas?
Yay.
They're playing on Christmas.
Do you burn it at night? Do you need Josh in the nightcap? Because there's 3 games, correct?
Yeah.
And what do you think about international?
I say no. There's some. I mean, that Pittsburgh game would be crazy in Ireland.
Yes. Well, we have to see what Aaron Rodgers does. That's what the league is obviously waiting for.
Well, they're going to announce the schedule. That schedule's already made.
Rodgers, it would be so Rodgers to go on McAfee on Tuesday.
I think, first of all, we know the Steelers are going to be there. Josh Allen carries that game no matter what.
Correct.
So if they want the Bills there, the Bills are going to be there no matter who the Steelers have as the quarterback. That's up there. I was looking at the rest of the schedule. I don't see them sending them back to London again.
No.
They just were in London. So I don't see that. I guess that could happen, but
Your interest, would you want the Bills to have an Ireland game, an international game in that spot? We know it's Pittsburgh. It's just a matter of.
and they'd be the road team in that game.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I wish they would just have it in Pittsburgh.
So we got Christmas to think about, Thanksgiving night, because they don't play at the Lions or at the Cowboys, so it could be the night game.
And that's an NBC game.
And that could be.
I doubt
they'd be announcing that,
Yeah.
but they could be.
Yeah.
So Josh could be there to announce that.
Yeah.
That's the
But
night
Buffalo Plus is softly announcing
game. Bengals.
Sunday night Bengals Week 1 home
And then
opener.
you got the day after Thanksgiving too.
Yeah.
In the Amazon game, which could be the Bills too.
Anything else?
I don't think so. It's good to be back up here.
It's good to call him Deion Walker, not Dwayne. Tons of great comments.
That's great. You know, people think you made
You're
a lot
the-
of mistakes. If it was me, it's because I'd be old. If it was Jenna, they'd say she's
high.
And it's just you being Dan.
Just being me.
You know who's going to be here in a couple weeks? Connor McGovern.
Not Conor McGregor
No.
or Connor McDermott.
Both of those guys could show up.
They could
if
be
they
here.
wanted to, but Connor McGovern will be here. Going up against.
Deion Walker.
Oh, we are on a roll.
I'm nailing it now. All right, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like we said, tons more content coming your way over the next week. Monday podcast. Wednesday, we'll have an instant reaction to the schedule release, state of the Bills offense, and all of those things. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. For Mike Catalana, I'm Dan Fates here up in Orchard Park. I'm not as good as tagging this out as Jenna is. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented
you did not land the plane.
by Connors and Ferris.